Okay, this will be a brief overview of the exterior window trim. So first thing we do is we're going to put in our window width and window height and the number of windows. If you forget the number of windows, you'll see a little alert comes up. You can put in the rough opening measurements for these measurements right here, or you can put outside of jamb to outside of jamb. Doesn't really matter. You're not going to get probably a difference in how much material you need. So next thing we're going to do is select the type of style of trim we're going to do, right? Do we have a window sill, or are we just going to do a picture frame? Right? So if you select type X, which has a window sill, you'll see sill material pops up. Right? So a lot of wood windows, the sill will be part of the window, so you actually don't need to you can keep the sill material as none. But let's say you're like mocking up, it's just a normal flanged window that you're mocking up a sill, you can select from the material here, right? And if you want to add to this list, all you do is click the plus sign. You see exterior sill material, you can enter in the material right here. We can go back to window. Same thing for our exterior casing. If you want to add any sort of trim, right, you just click the plus sign right next to the trim. Let's say we're going to use, you're going to want to add your casing the trim that you like to use. You can get 14-foot lengths, and they're going to be 5.5 inches wide, and you can get those for $16, right? So go back to window trim, right? We can select which window trim, right? We see my favorite trim right here. We select that. You can see it's going to be $16, 7 boards. And that's pretty much it. The only question is, are there mullions? Now, a mullion is if you have many windows, right? This is interior, but the same goes for exterior. You have a bunch of windows right next to each other, right, that are part of the same kind of, trim units, right? We're using one header, one apron, These pieces right in between the windows are called mullions. And a lot of times they're going to be wider than your casing, right? So if you have mullions in your window, I'll show you how you do that. So let's say we'll use this as an example. We'll say this window is 112 inches wide and 48 inches tall, right? So we're going to treat that as one window opening. So we'll go 112 windows wide, 40 inches tall, and that's one window, right? So are there mullions in this on window 3, right? There will be windows. So under window 3, we're going to have 2 mullions. And a lot of times you'll use wider trim, so let's use 7 1/4 wide Hardie trim for our mullions, right? And you can see it's going to calculate how many, what length, how many boards you're going to need to get those mullions. And that's pretty much it. The markup right here for waste is, how much extra lumber are you getting, right? That's what it's saying. So typical is 15%, but if you want to change it to 5, 10, 20, you can do that too.